In 1909, Frederick Henry Seddon, a district superintendent in an insurance company, bought up the lease of 63 Tollington Park, Islington, and a year later, in July, let the second floor to a Miss Eliza Barrow, a quarrelsome, an asthmatic, and prematurely aged woman of 49 with unhealthy habits and a morbid fascination for golden sovereigns. Miss Barrow and her ward, a 10-year-old called Ernest Grant, lived comfortably in their rooms in this respectable middle-class suburb. Miss Barrow, like her landlord, had a head for business. She sold some shares and the leases of 2 properties to Frederick Seddon, who agreed to pay her in return a weekly sum of £3 for the rest of her natural life. This life, however, was cut short in 1911, when after a 10 days illness, during which Mrs. Seddon nursed her devotedly, Eliza Barrow died of what was termed epidemic diarrhea. It wasn't until Eliza's relatives, the Vondereys, called at Tollington Park, that suspicions were aroused. Why did they never receive Seddon's letter informing them of Miss Barrow's death? What, they wondered, had become of Cousin Eliza's considerable financial assets, which they thought they were to inherit? They also learnt that not only had he arranged a pauper's funeral for Miss Barrow, he'd also claimed 12 and 6 commission from the undertakers. Given the haste and secrecy of her death, and the fact that her property had found its way into Seddon's possession, the relatives felt cheated and informed the authorities. Eliza's body was exhumed on November the 15th, 1911. Traces of arsenic were found, and investigations revealed that on August the 26th, Seddon's daughter Maggie purchased a 3-penny packet of flypaper stated on the label to contain arsenic and prominently marked poison. Mr. and Mrs. Seddon were arrested and charged with murder.
It's unthinkable. Absurd. The first of our family that's ever been charged with such a crime. Willful murder, indeed.
Yes, Papa.
Now, see, I had no motive. None whatever.
No, Papa.
Until then, we must trust in the Lord. As always.
Yes, Papa.
Now, did you get that message to Mr. Dobbs?
Yes, Papa. He said not to worry about closing the account. He quite understood the position and would wait to hear from you later.
Good. I won't let this interrupt the household accounts. Sorry state we'd be in if I did. Were there any other messages, Maggie?
No, Papa.
From your mamma?
No, Papa.
Right. Did old Mr. Bannister arrive to fix the downpipe?
Yes, Papa, but he didn't finish. He's coming back next week.
Is he now? I'll have to watch what he charges. I can't be paying bills for work not done. If he thinks to take advantage just because I'm indisposed, he's got a surprise coming.
Shall I tell Grandpa to give him some...
No. Don't tell Grandpa anything, do you understand? And certainly nothing I say to you in here.
Yes, Papa.
How are Ada and little Lily?
They're well, Papa.
Good. It's a comfort to know my family are so brave.
Yes.
No message from Mamma, eh? You quite sure?
Yes, Papa. I'd remember, wouldn't I?
Yes, I suppose you would. Now, there's one other thing I want.
Mr. Justice Bucknell presided, the Attorney General and R.D. Muir led for the Crown, and Marshal Hall for the defence. Mrs. Seddon was separately defended by Mr. Jervis Rentoul.
Mrs. Vonderey.
I saw Mr. Seddon give my sister-in-law several documents in an envelope, and I noticed a copy of the will which he produced. I asked him if he wished us to understand that Miss Barrow had parted with all her investments, and he said, yes, everything. And I remarked, well, whoever had persuaded Miss Barrow to do that was a remarkably clever person. That Miss Barrow was a very hard nut to crack if you mentioned money matters to her. He made no answer to that.
What did he tell you about the events of the last night that Miss Barrow was alive?
He said she was a very great trouble to them, and that his wife was worn out with waiting so much on Miss Barrow. He said he went up himself to her and gave her some brandy.
Did you tell Mr. Seddon that she was not responsible at times?
Yes, I said she was strange at times.
Not responsible.
Strange at times.
And then did he say you could never get her to do anything she didn't want to do?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, you'd agree with that?
Well, I stick to what I say. She was peculiar.
Wasn't Miss Barrow deaf?
Very, very deaf.
Do you need anything, Seddon?
No.
Your meal is on the way. It will do you good.
I had to feed her, you know. Miss Barrow. Beef juice. Rice pudding. Spoonful by spoonful. It took such a long time and she was always sick afterwards.
Well, never mind about that now.
Even had to help her on the commode.
Seddon. Not before your meal.
Well, she was so ill, you see. Epidemic diarrhea. It's a dreadful thing.
Don't think about it.
The flies couldn't keep away. It was the smell. Her smell. They just kept buzzing around, drove her mad. And me.
Mama?
Oh, the...
All right, Lily. Maggie Seddon, special dispensation.
Maggie. I'm glad to see you.
Sit there, please. Put your hands on the table. Don't touch the prisoner. Dinner, Seddon.
Look at that. A lovely piece of lamb. You're the lucky one.
They think I'm lucky being in here, Maggie.
Mama.
Eat up. Do you good.
That's just what she said.
All right, Lily, I'll take over.
Get yourself something to eat. Thank you, Mrs. Bates. It won't be as good as that, I can tell you.
Well, Maggie, what do you think of it? Your mother a common prisoner?
Mama, please eat something.
Don't you start on me. I get enough from them. Sorry.
It's all right. I did as you said, about keeping the curtains drawn.
Good. I don't want the neighbours prying. How are the children?
Making messes, enjoying themselves. Especially little Lily.
Get Chater to help you, but don't tell Papa, he'll be angry.
Suppose she says no.
She won't. She may be odd, but she knows what's what.
Mama, I have a message.
From your Papa?
No, from him.
What is it?
He had this sent in, special, and he said he'd be in the courtroom this afternoon.
I see. And this sent in special too?
Yes. Papa's bearing up well. He told me he's only worried about you.
Really?
You're doing it for him, aren't you?
What do you mean?
The food. You're eating it for Papa's sake. What else would I mean?
Yes. Yes, of course.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
There you are, Seddon. Grub up.
What's this?
What does it look like? Mutton stew.
Oh.
Enjoy it, Seddon.
I was delighted to hear that Mr. R.D. Muir will be on my case.
Well, why's that?
I'll enjoy crossing swords with one of the finest legal brains in the country, that's why.
All that legal talk leaves me a bit befuddled like.
It would. But he and I, we're alike. It's all up here, you see. I shall need more paper, by the way. Lots more paper. Can it be supplied?
Well, no problem, Seddon. Is it for your figures?
And notes. I'll be making a good many notes in the next few days.
All right. I'll see to it.
Invaluable thing, note-taking. Aids the memory. Miss Barrow appreciated that. She appreciated everything I did for her. Advising her on financial matters and the like.
Did she?
Yes. And there were times when I could hardly bring myself to go near her. Smelt so unpleasant, you see. Unhealthy. Something to do with her breath, I think.
Oh, sounds a rummin to me.
Always hanging around, too. Talking to Chater in the kitchen and Maggie in the garden. Even met her and Margaret on the stairs having some sort of argument. Never found out about what exactly.
Funny kind of lodger.
She had a head for business, though. For figures. I'd forgive anyone for that.
I'm afraid it's not what you're used to.
It isn't. But it would be a sin to waste it. I can't abide waste. I never could.
5 Hybrid Crescent Highbury. I am, and I have been for over 10 years, the family doctor of the 2 prisoners. On September the 2nd last, I was telephoned for to attend Miss Barrow between 10 and 11 o'clock at night. I went to number 63 Tollington Park, and I saw Miss Barrow in bed. Mrs. Seddon was in the room at the time. I got the history of the case from Miss Barrow and Mrs. Seddon, being told that on Friday, September the 1st, she had diarrhea and sickness. I examined Miss Barrow and found that she had pain in the abdomen, sickness and diarrhea. I was told that she had been vomiting. I prescribed bismuth and morphia.
Dr. Swan, you treated Miss Barrow through her illness from the 2nd of September.
I did.
You had not attended Miss Barrow before that time because she had been attended by Dr. Paul.
Yes, that is so.
What is your opinion of Miss Barrow's mental condition?
I never thought she was very good mentally, but if you explained matters sufficiently, she could understand them.
When you left her on the morning of the 13th of September, did you anticipate that she would die within 24 hours?
Certainly not. I would have gone back later in the day if I thought there was immediate danger. But heart failure is a thing that comes on suddenly in these cases of epidemic diarrhea.
What I was asking is this. Having regard to the condition in which you found her, had you any reason to expect that she would die that night?
I didn't expect her to die any more than I would expect any patient to die in that condition. Any patient who has an attack of diarrhea and sickness and becomes weak is likely to die, would stand a chance of dying. The patient might die of heart failure or anything like that.
What I want to get at is this. I really want to understand from you whether you thought that at the time she was in such a dangerous condition that she might die within 24 hours.
Well, she might have died 5 minutes after I'd left. I've known a person to be told that they're in no danger and to die an hour afterwards from heart failure. My own father died in that way.
Pray continue, Dr. Spilsbury.
Well, the body was very well preserved, both internally and externally. And taking into account the fact that death took place in September 1911, the state of preservation in which I found the body was very abnormal. I was not able to account for it at the time the post-mortem examination was made. But since the analysis, I think the preservation was due to the presence of arsenic in the body.
What, in your opinion, was the cause of death?
I'm of the opinion the cause of death was acute arsenical poisoning, the fatal dose being taken within 2 or 3 days of death, probably within 2. It is likely the arsenic could have been taken for some time before the fatal dose, because of the presence of arsenic in the hair, nails, and skin. I had a packet of Mather's flypapers brought to me for analysis, and I found 4.8 grains of arsenic in just one of them. Now, if a paper is actually boiled in water for a few minutes, nearly all the arsenic comes out. The fluid has a slightly bitter taste, and the water is more or less coloured by the paper.
Homegrown poppycock.
Could arsenic in that solution be administered in a beverage, such as Valentine's meat juice, without detection by the patient?
I should think so.
Do you incline to the opinion that it was one fatal dose or more than one dose of arsenic?
One fatal dose within the last 3 days.
My name is Ernie Squant. I was 10 last birthday.
You were Miss Barrow's ward, weren't you?
Yes, sir. I lived with Miss Barrow.
Now, think back carefully, Ernest, and tell us what happened when she was taken ill.
I slept in my own bed in the little room at the back. Miss Barrow had to stay in bed, and when she got worse, she asked me to sleep in her bed, and I did so.
You slept in her bed
She asked me to.
when she was ill?
Yes.
I see. Please, go on.
On that last night, I slept with Miss Barrow. She kept waking up. She woke me up, and I went downstairs to call Mrs. Seddon, because Chickie asked me.
Is that what you call Miss Barrow, Chickie?
Yes. Mrs. Seddon came up. Mr. Seddon was there several times, and he sent me back to my own room. Chickie called out again, and I went back to her and found Mr. and Mrs. Seddon in the room with her.
Are you all right, Ernest?
Yes, I'm all right, sir.
Go on.
Well, this happened several times during the night. Mr. Seddon telling me to go back to my own bed, and Chickie calling me back. Later, Mr. Seddon told me to go back to my own bed, and I went. Chickie didn't call me back, and I never saw her again. She was a loving and affectionate lady to me, but now I'm an orphan.
Don't distress yourself, Ernest. No one's going to hurt you. Now, do you want to go on? During that night, do you remember Miss Barrow being sick at all?
Yes, badly sick.
Do you remember her getting out of her bed and sitting on the floor?
Yes,
Did she seem in great pain then?
yes. She stayed on the floor till Mr. Seddon came up and put her in bed again.
Do you remember Miss Barrow saying anything about the flies?
No, I don't think she did.
There were a great many flies about, were there not?
Yes, lots and lots of them.
Do you remember anything being obtained to kill the flies?
No, sir.
Fly paper, for instance?
I don't know, sir.
Did you ever see fly paper in Miss Barrow's room?
No, I didn't, sir.
Or in the Seddons' room?
No.
No trouble getting your account paper.
Very accommodating, I'm sure.
We like to make things as comfortable as possible. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Your young daughter coming to visit you today? She's got special dispensation, so I hear.
Maggie? I don't know.
She's a credit to you, that one.
Yes, she is. And she'll have something to say about this business when she gets into the witness box.
We're not allowed to discuss what she'll say, Seddon. Regulations.
Well, very loyal she is. A dutiful daughter. All my family are like that. And I shall be out of here soon enough to see them again.
Well, it's very comforting to see such a positive attitude, if I may say so.
I have nothing to hide. I'm an innocent man. As God's my witness. And that will get me out of here. Get us both out, Mrs. Seddon and I.
Well, you have a brave lady by your side.
A trifle slow-witted on occasion, but loyal to the last. I can always depend on Mrs. Seddon, you see. And she nursed Miss Barrow like an angel of mercy. I was proud of that.
If that old crow had me running up those stairs once, she had me running 50 times a day. Wore me out. And every time I opened the door, the stench...
Don't fret yourself, Seddon. It isn't good for you.
Stop telling me what's good for me and what isn't.
I'm only doing what's best.
What's best is to get out of here. It's all right for you. You'll go home every evening. Me, I'm left in that dreadful cell with damp blankets and walls and a bucket.
There, Seddon.
Don't treat me as if I was a pet dog.
Would you like me to get you a doctor?
What good's a doctor? That was Frederick's answer to everything. We'll see where it got him.
Calm down, Seddon.
I'm perfectly calm, thank you.
Can I do anything?
No. She used to follow me, you know.
Who did?
Eliza Barrow. She'd creep up on me when I wasn't expecting. For a fat woman, she was very light on her feet. Are you listening?
Yes, Seddon.
I just got so bad I could hear her coming. This wheezing, whistling noise she'd make. Gave her away. She had to find other games to play, other ways of frightening me.
Surely not.
Oh, yes. It was her game, you see. She wanted to see me jump.
As I understand it, you are the general servant at Tollington Park.
Yes, sir.
Why do you wear a nurse's uniform?
Pardon?
I repeat, Miss Chater, why do you wear a nurse's uniform?
I used to be a nurse.
Speak up.
I used to be a nurse years ago, sir. But I wasn't engaged as a nurse at Tollington Park.
I see. What time did Miss Barrow used to get up in the morning?
She was always up in time to see Ernest to school.
And you say you never went into her room at all?
No, never.
Well, who washed up the things that came out of Miss Barrow's room?
Miss Margaret used to do it.
And nothing was sent downstairs to you to be washed?
Well, yes, towards the end. Glasses and little things. Perhaps a cup and saucer.
Did you break all the crockery saying, "I'm going, they'll arrest me next"?
No, I made no such remark.
Are you subject to sudden violent fits of shouting, saying that people are after you?
No, nothing of the kind. I had far too much to do to go around shouting.
On more than one occasion have threats been made to inquire into your mental condition?
Certainly not.
You must know a great deal about medicine.
Well, I don't know much about preparing medicine and all that kind of thing.
I see. Did you know that Miss Barrow suffered from asthma?
I used to notice when she was going upstairs, she had difficulty in breathing.
Did you ever tell Miss Barrow what was good for asthma?
No, sir.
Did you ever know that arsenic was good for asthma?
Never in my life.
If you don't ask this question, I shall. Did you ever administer arsenic to Miss Barrow?
No.
I'm not suggesting she knowingly administered arsenic to Miss Barrow for a moment.
I don't think for a moment you meant to do so. Either knowingly or unknowingly?
No, sir.
As a specific for asthma, did you ever administer arsenic to Miss Barrow? I mean as a medicine, of course.
No, sir, never.
Mr. Taylor, you are a colleague of the male prisoner, is that right?
I am.
What do you say happened when you went to Tollington Park on the 14th of September?
When I arrived at the house, Mr. Seddon was not in. I saw him later and continued working with him all that day. A little after 9 o'clock, I heard the chink of money. I turned my head and had a side view of Mr. Seddon's desk. I saw several piles of sovereigns and a good little heap besides. I estimated there was over £200 in gold. The prisoner packed that quantity into 4 bags.
So the first thing that attracted your attention was the chink?
It was the chink.
And then he holds up one of the bags and he says to Mr. Smith, your fellow assistant, here is your salary.
Yes.
He said that as a joke?
As a joke.
He was in a very good temper.
I never saw him the same as he was on that day.
And he is joking while the dead body is lying in the house, according to your story.
Well, he did hand the money to Smith.
As a joke?
As a joke.
My son, the male prisoner, my daughter-in-law and myself were all present on September the 11th when Miss Barrow made her last will.
We know Miss Barrow was very deaf.
Ah, she were.
Did she take the will and read it for herself?
Well, the will were read to her, but she couldn't properly understand it, so she asked for her glasses so she could read it herself. And she signed it, and she said, "Thank God, that will do."
Well, on the same day that she signed the will, she seemed quite all right.
Well, she was perfectly sane altogether.
Did you notice if there were many flies around the room?
Why, there were plenty of flies around, all right, both upstairs and down.
Did you go to the undertaker's?
Aye, me and my daughter and Mrs. Seddon, we all went to the undertaker's. We asked the woman in the shop to take the lid off the coffin, and Mrs. Seddon bent down and kissed the corpse.
Share the joke, Seddon. What joke? You were smiling.
Oh, nothing. Just an habit I have. Can't help it.
It's good to see you cheerful.
I'm not cheerful. I told you. It's just an habit I have.
Oh?
She couldn't stand it. What's your secret, Mrs. Seddon? She kept asking. Regular as clock chimes, once a month she'd go down with a bilious attack, and it was always me who had to clear up after her.
You were good to her. Anyone can see that.
Miss Barrow was filthy, you know. Never let me change the sheets. And little Ernie in bed with her, it was disgusting. Still, she keep asking. What's your secret, Mrs. Seddon? As though...
Yes?
As though she already knew.
about them figures, Seddon?
Yes?
Do you really understand them?
Of course I do. My life's work. 21 years with the London and Manchester Assurance Company. And the last 10 years as superintendent of the district. Currency, cash, and credit.
Confuses me.
There's no mystery to it. All I see is the profit at the end. Useful thing, money.
Well, it's just that me and the missus, well, we've got a bit tucked by, but just gathers dust.
Then you're not using it properly.
Well, exactly what I said to her. But it needs an intelligent man, well, like yourself, to, well, show us what we're doing wrong.
You're asking for my advice?
If I could be so bold.
Of course. And you're absolutely right.
Am I?
I am an intelligent man. Now, I need to know how much money you have. Exact pounds, shillings, and pence, please. If I'm to help you, as I help Miss Barrow and others, I must have precise details.
Oh, it's beautiful, Seddon. Just what you asked for the other day.
Oh, Mamma usually gets what she wants, don't you?
Please be careful with it.
It's a lovely present, your husband.
My husband? Mr. Seddon doesn't have the imagination for anything like that.
Stop sighing, Lily, and off you go.
I wish I had a fairy godmother to bring me things like that.
Ah, but it wasn't a fairy godmother, was it, Mamma?
Did you bring that blue bonnet?
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Can't ask you to do the simplest thing.
Next time?
It doesn't matter. I shall have to go into the witness box without it. I wanted to look at least halfway presentable. Really, Maggie, you'll forget your head one of these days. What are you smirking at?
Don't be so hard on the girl, Seddon.
Please don't tell me how to treat my daughter.
Mr. Bates says it doesn't matter how you look. It's what's inside here that matters.
Really?
Yes. Well, don't let me interrupt you.
I know what I want to do when I grow up.
Do you?
Yes. Have lots and lots of friends. And a husband.
Well, no.
Well, you do, don't you, Mamma? Have lots of friends, I mean.
Yes, well, never mind that now. Tell me a news. Has that downpipe been fixed yet? Your father will be so angry about it when he gets out. When...
I've been fortunate.
Have you, Seddon?
A good wife, fine children, a steady income. I can't complain.
Many would, I'm sure.
Well, they haven't my brains to appreciate the better things of life.
No.
And this, the best book ever written. I get a great deal of comfort from it.
Why, as it should be, Seddon. I'm not what you might call a churchgoer. The missus nags me about it.
It isn't easy following the path of our Maker, even with the wife's help.
Too many temptations in this life. Too much to enjoy. Women, for one. And I do like a drop of gin now and again. You mightn't see it that way.
But I do.
You do?
We're alike, you and I. Appreciate the better things. There are too many temptations.
Are there?
And I'm no saint.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I give shall be the truth, very ill, the whole truth. Last night, I went up to the Marlborough Theatre and returned home about 12:30 midnight. I heard from my wife that Miss Barrow had called out she was dying. I am dying, or something like that. I said, is she? And my wife said no, and smiled. She said she'd been calling out like that, and that she'd done all she could for her. We both went to her room together.
Had you the slightest suspicion that Miss Barrow was fatally or dangerously ill?
No. You see, every night had been alike. Sending down and calling out. My wife having to go up and down, up and down. Miss Barrow was a woman who complained more than necessary with regard to her ailments.
How long were you in Miss Barrow's room at this time?
A few minutes. There was a shocking smell in Miss Barrow's room that night. I couldn't bear to be in the room, as I have a delicate stomach.
Did you know if your wife had got any fly papers?
She told me she did.
Have you ever handled a fly paper that came into the house?
Absolutely no.
Have you ever in your life boiled down a fly paper and made a concoction of fly paper?
No. I've never known anybody to do it, until I heard in this court that it had been done by experiment.
It's all over now, Maggie.
What is it, Mamma? Are you unwell?
I saw her.
Who?
Miss Barrow. She was there in the courtroom.
Mamma, you're imagining things.
She was there. I could smell her. And she looked straight at me.
Mamma.
And laughed. The evil old woman.
Please stop it. You're frightening me.
Am I? Don't be scared, Maggie. Ghosts are 10 a penny these days.
Let's not talk about it. Jayston says Papa's doing well.
Is he?
I felt so proud of him, standing there, telling the truth.
Truth? Yes. I've forgotten what that is. Do something for me, Maggie.
What is it, Mamma?
Can you get a message to him?
To Papa?
No.
I've managed before.
Tell him he must be patient.
Is that all?
Yeah.
No thanks for the oranges and honey?
That's enough, Maggie. And not a word to your grandfather.
Of course, Mamma.
One day you'll understand what this is all about.
I want to go now. I'm sorry I can't kiss you, Mamma.
Another time?
Yes, another time. Goodbye.
Was it about October that you began negotiations with Miss Barrow about an annuity?
About September, I think.
You arrived at an agreement with her that she was to transfer to you all her India stock to a value of £1,600 and her property, and that you were to give her an annuity of £2 to £3 a week.
What she wanted.
That was her proposal?
Yes.
And you were advising her?
I was agreeing with her.
Miss Barrow lived with you from the 26th of July 1910 till the morning of the 14th of September 1911.
Yes.
Did you like her?
Did I like her?
Yes, that is the question.
Well, she wasn't a woman you could be in love with, but I deeply sympathized with her.
During the time that Miss Barrow was living with you, did you advise her on her financial affairs?
Certainly I advised her.
You ascertained that she had over £200 in the Finsbury and City of London savings bank?
Yes.
She also had a cash box with some money in it when she came to you?
Yes.
Some gold?
I don't know. I never saw the inside of the cash box.
When she died, was all the property that was left of hers a sum of £10 in gold and other belongings to the value of £16, 14 shillings and sixpence?
According to the inventory taken by Mr. Gregory, it was £16 odd.
And the only cash that was left, according to you, was £10.
That, I swear, was all I found.
You always said I were no good. But it's you as landed up in jug.
I don't know why you bothered to come and see me, Father.
Thicker than water, that's why.
You could at least have put on a clean suit. Look at you, like something out of a farmyard.
Don't you talk to me like that. You'll feel the weight of my hand across your ear. Rules or no rules. Too conceited by half, that were always your trouble.
Don't be silly, Father.
Well, you may be a grown man now, but you'll always be tricky little Fred to me. So I'll take none of your rubbish.
If only you'd smarten yourself up a bit.
And what's the matter with me? I brought you up, didn't I? So that you had every chance.
That old story.
Aye, that old story. And if you can't keep a decent tongue...
I think you'd better leave, Father.
Whispering behind my back. I know, I saw you. All three of you. But they knew something you didn't know. And Miss Barrow knew. And so did I.
What are you talking about?
Curious now, aren't we? You're going to listen to your old father. Now you wants to know something.
Tell me.
Why should I? Always kept your secrets, didn't you? Sad you know already, don't you? Suspect anyway. About them two. Eliza Barrow knew too, didn't she?
Miss Barrow and my wife went to the bank and drew out £216 in gold. I've never seen that money. I told my wife I didn't consider Miss Barrow's trunk a very safe thing to keep such a sum.
During the whole time of her illness, did you think that money was in existence?
I didn't give it any consideration. My mind was occupied with other things.
Just think.
My business...
Just think what you say. Your mind was much agitated with her putting this money into the trunk in her room.
At the time, yes. But she told me she knew what to do with it. And she treated me with indifference for about a week after.
But so far as you were concerned?
I treated it like that.
You treated the £200 like that. Is that your explanation?
Yes.
I want to ask you about what happened at the interview with Mr. Smith and Mr. Taylor. You know what I'm speaking of now?
Yes. I'm supposed to have had her money early in the morning. There was £99 altogether in gold. It was the company's money and my own. It's not feasible a man is going to do a thing like that.
What do you mean?
The prosecution are suggesting that I'm dealing with the deceased woman's gold. That I take it down from the top of the house and in the presence of my assistants count it up.
I don't want to argue with you, but you know that sometimes people do very foolish things.
Well, I'm not a degenerate. That would make it out that I'm a greedy and human monster, or something with a very degenerate mind to commit a vile crime such as the prosecution suggests, and then bringing the dead woman's money down and counting it and flouting it like that. The suggestion is scandalous. I would have all day to count the money.
Did you know that 2/3 of a grain of arsenic was found in the stomach and intestines of this lady 2 months after her death?
I've heard that. I can't remember the exact amount found, but something like that.
Can you account for the arsenic having got into her stomach and intestines?
It's a Chinese puzzle to me.
I swear by Almighty God, the evidence I give shall be the truth. Barrow was generally always complaining. I went up and stayed with her and put on more flannels, and she seemed to go to sleep. My husband was standing by the bedroom door, smoking his pipe and reading.
Was Miss Barrow snoring?
Yes. It was getting on towards daylight then, and my husband drew attention that the snoring stopped and her breathing stopped.
What happened then?
Then he lifted up her eyelid and said... I can't say it. I don't like to say it.
Never mind, say it low.
He said, "Good God, she's dead." Then he hurried out and went for Dr. Swan.
Have you ever administered or caused to be administered arsenic to Miss Barrow in any shape or form?
None whatever. None whatever.
Well, did you bring it as I asked?
Yes, Papa.
Let me see. Let me see. Just let me look. I haven't. It's not the same as just doing figures. All right, Maggie, put them away.
Yes, Papa.
When this is all over, we must have a holiday. Southend, perhaps.
Yes, Papa.
All of us together again.
Oh. Mother said...
What did she say? Maggie, tell me.
She said she was thinking of going away on her own. Like last time.
Like last time?
Yes, that's what she told me. Perhaps I shouldn't.
You did right to tell me, Maggie.
Yes, Papa.
I'm going to ask you about the last night that Miss Barrow was alive, the 13th. Before your husband came home, did she not say to you, "I am dying"?
Not to me, no.
To whom did she say it?
You see, I was standing at the front door. The windows were open and I heard her shout, "Come quick, I'm dying." So, of course, I went upstairs.
You found her very ill?
No, she was just the same as she usually was. But she had bad pains in her stomach and she wanted to be sick.
Rather an alarming statement, isn't it? Come quick, I'm dying, for a patient who'd been ill for several days and getting worse?
No, Miss Barrow was always calling out. And sometimes I would never answer to her calls, you see.
Did you tell your husband about it when he came in?
Yes, I did.
Did you smile at it?
Well, I have a usual way of smiling at almost everything, I think. I cannot help it. It's my ways. No matter how serious anything was, I think I would smile at it. I cannot help it.
You did not mean him to think there was no cause for anxiety.
No, it's always my way, always.
A way that he would understand.
He knows my ways.
Were you asked by the Chief Inspector whether you'd ever been to purchase flypapers?
Yes, sir. I told the Chief Inspector I'd been to try and get them, but that was after all this business started. I went to Mr. Price's shop, but he wouldn't give them to me.
I will read you your whole answer. Yes, I went to Mr. Price, but I didn't get any. The chemist was going to give them to me until I mentioned my name.
That's right.
Were you asked who sent you for them?
Yes.
And you couldn't remember whether it was your mother or Mr. Saint, your father's solicitor?
That's right.
I would like to point out what absence of proof there is in this case. First of all, there is absolutely no proof that Mr. Seddon ever handled any arsenic. Secondly, there is no proof that Mr. Seddon ever administered any arsenic. Thirdly, there is no proof that Mr. Seddon ever knew that Mather's flypaper contained arsenic. Fourthly, there is no proof that if he did know it, he knew that they contained a quantity sufficient to be dangerous to human life. There is a great mass of assumptions which you are asked to make. First of all, you have
there exists deep in your hearts a desire to do justice in this case. That I ask you on behalf of Mrs. Seddon to return the only verdict that you can return without fear or hesitation, and that is an emphatic verdict of not guilty.
All I ask you is, when you have made up your minds, not to shrink from the conclusions to which you think you have been forced by the evidence that has been given. If you are satisfied, say so, whatever the consequences. If you are not satisfied, do not hesitate to acquit the one or both. Give effect to the results of your deliberations and the conclusions that you come to.
Do you find Frederick Henry Seddon guilty or not guilty of willful murder?
Guilty.
And do you find Margaret Ann Seddon guilty or not guilty of willful murder?
Not guilty.
Tell her she's discharged, will you?
Frederick Henry Seddon, you stand convicted of willful murder. Have you anything to say for yourself why the court should not give you judgment of death according to law?
I have, sir. I don't know whether anything I have to say here can in any way affect the judgment that is about to be passed upon me. But there is one thing quite patent to me. And it is that these monies...
Seddon spoke for 25 minutes. It was an admirable display of calculated and level-headed thinking. He said, I am surrounded by a set of circumstances from which there seems no way of extricating myself. To the end, he claimed a clear conscience and, recognizing the judge was a member of the Brotherhood, used a Masonic sign as a final appeal.
Anything to me in the shape of money, which is the great motive suggested by the prosecution in this case, for my committing the diabolical crime of which I declare before the great architect of the universe, I am not guilty, my lord. If it is the last words that I speak, I am not guilty of the crime for which I stand convicted.
Frederick Henry Seddon, you have been found guilty of the willful murder of Eliza Mary Barrow. With that verdict, I am bound to say I agree. You have a motive for this crime. That motive was the greed of gold. This murder has been described by yourself in the box as one which, if made out against you, was a barbarous one. A murder of design, a cruel murder. It is not for me to harrow your feelings.
It does not affect me.
I have a clear conscience.
From what you have said, you and I know that we both belong to the one brotherhood. And it is all the more painful to me to have to say what I'm saying. That our brotherhood does not encourage crime. On the contrary, it condemns it. I pray you again to make your peace with the great architect of the universe. Mercy, pray for it, ask for it. It may be some consolation to you to know that I agree with the verdict that the jury has passed with regard to your wife.
She has done nothing wrong, sir.
I am satisfied that the jury has done well and rightly in acquitting her. I am satisfied that they have done justice to you. Now, I have to pass sentence. The sentence of this court is that you be taken from hence to a lawful prison, and from thence to a place of execution, and that you be there hanged by the neck till you're dead, and that your body be buried within the precincts of the prison in which you shall have been confined after your conviction. And may the Lord have mercy on your soul.
It's all right. I'll keep an eye on him. Right, Seddon, just for a moment.
Ada, my dear. Lily?
You've been in hospital ever such a long time, Dada. Are you better now?
Not yet, my darling.
What funny clothes you're wearing.
Well, Ada, dear, I have to go away on a big ship to get better. And I don't suppose I shall be back for a very long time.
I don't mind, so long as you come back quite well.
It's all right, Margaret. Don't cry. Here, Cheta. Margaret.
Yes, Frederick.
We must both be brave now.
Yes.
I'm a victim of circumstances. I'm condemned on ifs and guesswork and calculations. But death has no terrors for me. My dear, God be with you. Go quickly, Cheta. Look after her for me. Look after them all.
It's time enough.
Frederick Seddon was hanged on April the 18th, 1912. Margaret told a lurid story to a newspaper, claiming he'd forced her to watch while he administered arsenic to Miss Barrow. She later denied this story. Margaret Seddon married again, only a few months after her husband's execution.